Elliot, so the next test we're going to do is we're going to do what's called a breast exam. And I'm just going to check the front of your chest out, all right? And everything looks great, looks symmetrical. Do you ever have pain in your chest?
Mm-hmm.
No pain in your breasts? No? Okay. So can you stand up for me and stand in front of me? Okay. Can you raise your arms over your head and lace your fingers behind your head? Awesome. And extend your arms out like that. Awesome. Okay. Everything looks symmetrical. Can you put your hands on your hips like this? Right? Can you bend forward at the shoulder? Well, not your back. Straighten up your back. Just bring your shoulders forward like that. Like that, right? Okay. And awesome. So what I'm checking for is retraction of the skin of the nipple of the breast tissue. And sometimes that would tell us if there's any masses, which would be anything growing in there that's not supposed to be growing. And everything looks great on you. All right, Elliot. So now I'm going to chest check and I'm going to feel your breast tissue. Again, ideally you would be laying perfectly flat on an exam bed, but we're going to do the best that we can, and we're just going to talk about what the differences would be if we were doing this in a real doctor's office and not you here helping us out, okay? And I really appreciate you doing that. And is it okay if I touch your chest? Okay. So can you bring this hand down to your side? And we're going to do one side and then the other side, okay? So can you bring your head up over your arm like that? And that's just exposing this area, this breast tissue area. And did you know that boys can get breast cancer too? So it's really important that you have your breast checked out, okay? So I'm going to test you. So I'm looking at the nipples. There's no discharge. They're pink and appropriate. No pain or tenderness when I touch them? No? That's awesome. Okay. And so what we would do is we would do what's called a breast exam. And I'm just going to use the tips of my fingers. And it's called kind of like a strip exam. So it's lines. I kind of, in my head, I draw lines on your breast. And I feel, and I'm feeling for any lumps and bumps on the inside. And sometimes this can be ticklish because I have to go into what's called the talus fence. And that kind of goes almost all the way up into your armpit. And it's kind of ticklish a little bit. So if I tickle, you let me know, okay? Or if it hurts in any way, you let me know, okay? Okay. So traditionally we would start and we do light touching and then deep touching. And again, you wouldn't be normally laying like this. You would be normally laying nice and flat, so everything is exposed properly. But we're just going to articulate, which means tell, what we would normally do in real life. So the beginning, what I would do, it would be I would use my fingertips and I would use light palpation, and I would be checking for lumps and bumps, and I would be doing this in a circular motion and all over the breast tissue. And I'm not feeling anything odd or crazy, lumps and bumps. Okay? And so this is an exam that you would do on both sides. So you would bring this arm down and you would raise this arm. And again, you would start up in the tail, lightly, in a strip pattern. And you want to make sure that you're checking all the spots, okay? And you would do this both lightly and deep palpation, okay? And I'm not going to do it on you because I can see that you're kind of ticklish, but I would have you alternate your arms, and I would do light and deep palpation, and I can feel all your little ribs in there, okay? Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do, Elliot, is we're going to check all the lymph nodes in your body. Remember those lymph nodes we were talking about? And we checked them all up in here? Well, there's a lot of them under your arms. So can you stand up for me? So hold your arm out like this. Okay, so up under here. So relax. Kind of bring your arm down like that. Yeah, relax. So there's lymph nodes up in here, and I'm going to feel for them. Okay, does that tickle? It does. Okay. Tickle in there. Okay. And then there's some in what are called in your axillary, which is, you know, is your armpit. Okay, does that tickle? Because I got a feeling they're kind of deep, right? Right? Okay. And then I'm going to come up here. See your pectoral muscle right there? So I'm going to come right behind there and feel. Okay. And then right back here where your clavicle is, I'm going to push back against that. I don't feel anything there either, right? Okay, that's awesome. And again on this side, up under here. Yeah. Okay. And right in there, tickle, tickle, right? Okay. And up against this muscle. You're doing great, buddy. And then right back here against you. Okay. Awesome. And then down here, this is awesome. Okay. Almost all the way down here. Okay, great. Thank you, Elliot.